Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिहि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिहि ओम। ओम पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवत् गीते भवद्वेषिणीम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः सुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसां पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Om. Namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji. Pranam.
Pranam. Shrotraadinindriyanyanye संयमाग्निषु जुह्वति शब्दादीन् विषयान्यन्य इंद्रियाग्निषु जुह्वति. So as I was saying, from the 25th verse onwards up to the 34th verse, Lord Krishna wants to talk about the glory of self-knowledge. Atma Jnana. And for this purpose, Krishna introduces different spiritual sadhanas. And in these verses, 12 spiritual sadhanas are mentioned. Of these, of course, 12 spiritual sadhanas, Jnana Yoga is also one of the sadhanas. And he calls all of these 12 sadhanas as yajna, because in all of them, worship of the Lord is involved, at least at the mental level. Even though physically we may not be sitting near an altar and performing this yajna, in our understanding, at the level of our mind, there is this Ishwararpana Bhava. So Ishvara is always kept in mind. And Krishna wants to conclude that even though all these spiritual sadhanas are great, they are necessary, but Jnana Yoga alone is the greatest sadhana. And the reason for this, he says, is all the sadhanas are very good, very useful, but they can only prepare the mind. They can never give liberation or moksha directly. But the sadhanas are required. There is no choice in that. So after preparing the mind through the 11 sadhanas, one has to go through Jnana Yajna, the 12th and final sadhana, to attain liberation. And this is the confusion most people have. They feel that there are different paths to moksha. And each of these sadhanas they may consider as one of the paths to moksha. No doubt, they are paths. They are paths to moksha. But they are not direct paths. Therefore, all the 11 sadhanas are validated and made fruitful only when all of them culminate in jnanam. And therefore, jnanam is called what? Sakshat moksha karanam. And all other sadhanas are called parampara moksha karanam. Sakshat moksha karanam means direct cause for moksha. And all other sadhanas which purify the mind, which lead you up to jnanam, they are all called parampara moksha karanam, indirect means, subsidiary means. So they can only indirectly help jnanam alone. And jnanam alone can directly help. In fact, Krishna will say in this chapter later, Shreyan dravyamaya yajnyaha jnana yajna parantapa sarva karma khilam partha jnane parisamapyate. So all these sadhanas, different yajnas that is performed, that is mentioned, they all parisamapyate. They end where in jnanam, jnane parisamapyate. So we must understand that there is only one cause for moksha, which is jnanam, which is knowledge, and that is self-knowledge. Knowledge of the only reality in this entire cosmos. So here he says in this sloka, which I just now read, compared to all the sadhanas, jnana yajna is the greatest, because other sadhanas can bring a person only to the jnana yajna. And for preparation, you may take one sadhana or more sadhanas, depending upon your level of impurities. So we have got a choice with regard to preparing the mind, but we have no choice with regard to moksha. And this is the message of the Upanishads. That Krishna is not telling something on his own. Therefore, among the 11 sadhanas, a person can use any one or a combination of 11 different routes for the purification of the mind. So many paths are there for Chitta Shuddhi, but after Chitta Shuddhi, for moksha, there is only one path, and that is called Jnanam. And since everybody has to come to Jnanam one time or the other, as I said in the last class, maybe this Janma, maybe next Janma, maybe after 50 Janmas, maybe in the next cycle of creation, we don't know. So since everybody has to eventually come to Jnanam only, Jnana Yajna is the greatest yajna. And that is the essence of this entire portion from 25 to 34. Verse number 25 to 34. So as we were seeing in this sloka, two more yajnas are enumerated. Krishna says that some people offer the sense organs like the ears into the fire of self-control. Others offer the sense objects like sound, etc., into the fire of sense organs. So in the first line he says, Shrotra adini indriyani sanyama agnishu juhvati. We must always remember, whenever we are talking about yajna here, we are talking about juhvati, offering into the fire. Agnishu juhvati. We must remember all the offerings talked about are in a figurative sense. There is no fire involved, no offering involved, nothing. It is all figuratively offered. Intellectual understanding of what the action is about, that is called an offering. So the first yajna talked about in this sloka is sensory discipline, which is called Indriya Sanyamaha. Tattvabodha students can recall. It is called Damaha. Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampatti, one of the important ingredients or features or you can say sadhanas in Sadhana Chatushtaya is Damaha. Shama, Damaha, Uparamaha, we have seen all that. Okay. So the sadhaka, Juhvati, offers Shrotra Adini Indriyani, the 5 sense organs. What are they? Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin. Sanyam Agnishu, into the fire of self-control. Again, I repeat, there is no physical fire, no physical oblations involved. But what is involved is the sensory discipline, regulating or managing the functioning of our sense organ and gain mastery over that. And we should understand here, Indriya Sanyamaha is not a forced thing. It is not somebody else trying to force some sensory discipline in us. But I myself choose to forego certain things so that I can have mastery over my sense organs. It is voluntary and will-based discipline arising out of my understanding of what needs to be done for my spiritual progress. Voluntarily, I give up so many things. Voluntarily, I give up watching, all entertainment things like movies, all these TV programs, etc. Why? Because I understand, I realize that these are all taking a lot of my time, which I can otherwise spend in my spiritual progress. So I give them up. All the sense pleasures that we derive one by one. As they say, some of them are low-hanging fruits, very easy to do. Stop reading newspapers, very easy to do. That does not mean that you must hate these things. It is just that whatever I have been doing till now, they have served me very well in my life. I have reached this stage through all these things. I have seen TV programs, I have watched the movies, everything I have done. They have all helped me in one way or the other. But now they are no longer useful to me, so I just give it up. It is just like the toys that when we are, we are infants or small children, we play with lot of toys. In fact, some of the toys are the entire world for us at that stage. But then as we grow up, we give up those toys voluntarily. Even if somebody brings that toy to you today, you will not even look at it. Or maybe you look at it and appreciate it and say, okay, I'm not going to play with this toy now. It's not my age. So all this giving up is called yajna. Why do you give up? For your spiritual progress. If you are not in the spiritual path, if moksha is not your goal, Shastra doesn't force you to give up all these things. You can enjoy till the last. In fact, you can breathe your last breath watching some big boss and all that on the TV. Okay, fine, no problem. So this is the third yajna. The fourth yajna given is in the second line, which is called Vishaya Bhoga Yajna. In the previous yajna, which we just now talked about, I do not allow the sense organs to be indulgent. When the sense organs begin to become my master and I become a slave, if I am developing any sensory weakness, when I sense that, I need to overcome that weakness. And how do I do that? By offering the sense objects like sound into the fire of the sense organs. So he says, Anye, some other people, Shabdadin Vishayan, they offer varieties of sensory stimuli like Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. All these they offer into the respective sense organs. But all this is so beautiful. Our entire scriptures, if you look at it, even mantras, shlokas and all, if you understand the meaning of all of them talk about the same thing. And in fact, this yajna, which we are talking about, it is presented in the form of a beautiful prayer. Every day we can chant that prayer. In fact, we are supposed to chant that prayer to convert our regular experiences into an yaga. Many of you would have heard of Shiva Manasa Puja. There is a beautiful shloka in that. Atma tvam girija matihi sahachara prana shariram griham pujate vishayopabhoga rachana nidra samadhi stitihi sanchara padayo pradakshina vidhi stotrani sarva giro yadyat karma karomi taddadakilam shambho tavaradhanam. Beautiful Shiva Manasa Puja. O Lord Shambho, Atma Tvam Girija Matihi. You are very much inside me as the Atma. My mind, Matihi, is Girija, Parvati Devi. Sahacharaha Pranaha. All the pranas are Shiva Ganas. Sahacharaha, they are all constantly running. All the pranas, the 5 prana, pancha pranas. Like the Shiva Bhuta Ganas, they're constantly running. And then all my experiences are offering to you. Then he says, Pujate Vishayopa Bhoga Rachana, Upabhoga Rachana, Nidra Samadhi Stitihi. Then finally he says, what is Pradakshinam? Every day I walk here and there. Go for a morning walk, evening walk. You can just change your attitude of the morning walk or evening walk. You may be doing it for health reasons. Okay, I do walk, I will lose weight and I'll be, I will be more healthy. Just change the attitude. This is pradakshina I am doing. The entire universe I consider cosmos as Ishvara. Wherever I walk, it is the pradakshina for the Ishvara I am doing. So with that attitude, this is the pradakshina I am offering to you. You are not going to lose anything by that. But your spiritual, your attitude takes you nearer to your spiritual goal. Whatever I speak, whatever word I utter is your stuti, yadyat karma, karomi taddat akilam shambho tavaradhanam. All this aradhana, whatever I do, they become a worship. How small change in the attitude with which you do things. All this is, practically when you talk of karma yoga, Ishwararpana bhava, anything that you, this is karma yoga. In every action, in every word, you keep Ishwara in mind, and that is karma yoga. You are just offering everything to Ishwara. And what it does is, it starts purifying you spiritually, because you will be very careful. When you are offering anything to Ishwara, it has got to be pure, isn't it? Even at home, we have puja and all that. When we are preparing the Naivedyam, what do? We don't do it casually as we will be cooking our food. But cooking food also should not be done casually. That's a different matter. But these days, most people do that. But even those people, when they have a puja at their home, and they want to prepare some, some offering, Naivedyam, they will take bath with pure, pure lot of physical purity. They will make sure that this is prepared very carefully, Naivedyam, and then you are offered. You offer. It is pure. Lot of ghee, etc. they use for purifying all the ingredients. Why? Because you are offering to Ishvara. Similarly, whenever you are doing any action, whenever you are speaking any word, whenever you are, some thoughts are occurring in your mind, they come in your mind. If you take them as offerings to Ishvara, you will ensure the purity of all your actions, all your words, all your thoughts. And that is what is the goal of the spiritual, the journey rather. That is what eventually Karma Yoga is going to deliver. Chitta Shuddhi. And it is not merely an attitude, it's a fact also, because Ishvara consciousness is in me. And whatever I offer, it is received by what? Consciousness alone. When Shabda, when it is offered into consciousness, it becomes Shabda Jnanam. Sparsha offered into consciousness becomes Sparsha Jnanam. So this change of attitude, gaining knowledge of all these things, it's a very beautiful approach. So he says, Shabdadin Vishayananya Indriyagnishu Juhvati. They offer unto the sense organs. So two yajnas he talked about in this. Is basically both the yajnas, two aspects of what we call damaha. Now we will go to the next set of yajnas. Sloka 27. Sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani chapare atma sanyama yogagnav juhvati jnana dipite. The Anvaya of this sloka is apare sarvani indriya karmani prana karmani cha atma sanyama yoga agnav jnana dipite juhvati. Apare, others. Sarvani indriya karmani, all functions of the sense organs. Prana karmani cha, all functions of prana. Atma sanyama yogagnav, in the fire of self-control. Jnana Deepite, kindled by knowledge, Juhvati offer. See, the whole underlying idea is the same. Each one you pick up and say, I am giving up this, I am offering this, I am offering this. So he talked about Dhamma. Now he says, others, some people may choose Dhamma, others offer all the functions of the sense organs and all the functions of the prana also into the fire of self-control, kindled by discrimination. So Jnana Deepite here is, Jnana Deepam is knowledge, but here we have to understand as discrimination. Viveka hai. So till now, 4 yajnas have been talked about. First talked about Brahma Jnana Yajna, then Daiva Yajna, Indriya Sanyama Yajna, and Vishaya Nigraha Yajna, Vishaya Bhoga Yajna. Now, Krishna is introducing the 5th Yajna, Atma Sanyama Yajna. Atma Sanyama means mental discipline, which is tougher, which is a very tough Yajna. Previously, we talked about sensory discipline, which is relatively easier. You can, if you can't see a gory sight, or if there is, suppose you are sitting in your drawing room and somebody is watching some TV program, and you don't want to watch the TV program, you can close your eyes. If you see a gory sight, accident, you don't want to be disturbed mentally, you can close your eyes. If you don't want to listen to some noise, you can close your ears. At least you can get away from that place. But mental discipline is very difficult. Because even if you go away from the place, that thought can continue to go with you. So here Atma refers to the mind, not Satchidananda Atma. And Sanyama means discipline. And through this mental discipline, what do they accomplish? Krishna says all the 10 organs, the 5 organs of knowledge and 5 organs of action, Jnanendriyani and Karmendriyani. Organs of knowledge, Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, and organs of action, Vak, Pani, Pada, Payu, Upastha. Speech, hand, leg, organ of excretion, and organ of reproduction. These are called Dasha Indriyani, the 10 organs. Now, these 10 organs are, if you look at it, unruly sense organs, unrefined, uncultured, untamed. In Kathopanishad, they are compared to wild horses. It's a Dushta Ashwa. Dushta Ashwa, wild horses. They are not tamed. And if you try to ride a wild horse, what will happen? It will jump left, right, try to throw you down. If you try to ride the horse forward, it will go backward. Or in order to throw you down, it will itself lie down. Similarly, now all our sense organs are unruly sense organs. And how do you discipline them? You discipline them by disciplining the mind. Mind is the headquarters of all these sense organs. Because the mind is the one which has to be managed, which is behind. There's only one mind behind all the 10 sense organs. Therefore, by disciplining the mind, all sense organs are mastered. Therefore, the unruly sense organs are then offered into mental discipline. Offered means what? the undisciplined, the indiscipline is destroyed, eliminated by converting the sense organs into disciplined sense organs. Therefore, he says, Sarvani Indriyani Karmani. So, Indriya Karma here means Jnanendriya Karma and Prana Karma. So, Jnanendriya Karmani and Karmendriya Karmani. These are called Indriya Karmani. The functions of all the 10 sense organs. Atma Sanyama Yoga Gnau Jukvati. They are all offered and destroyed in the fire of mental discipline. And that is why mind discipline becomes more important. When we talk of purity of the mind, that is not going to be achieved by some chanting some slokas and all, though that is one sadhana one should do. But there is a lot of other sadhanas like these yajnas have to be done. Spiritual path is not an easy path. One has to have a determined approach towards this. Do everything that is required. And we have got the guidance through Bhagavad Gita, through our Upanishads, through other scriptures. Roadmap is available to us. It is for us to undertake the journey. Because without mental discipline, if we try to attempt a discipline at the sensory level, it can work temporarily, like the parents controlling the children. It's just like, the example, smokers, people who smoke, they get some sensory pleasure out of smoking. That's why they continue to smoke. Of course, there is also the physical aspect of it. I don't want to go into it, but they always get some sensory pleasure. They can control that smoking. Many people try that, I will kick the habit. I'll kick the habit. They stop for some time without addressing the root cause, which is the mind. Because the feeling of the sensory pleasure, where does it occur? It is occurring in the mind. They don't address the mind part of it. Physically, they give up smoking. It lasts for some time. After some time, the mind will say, oh, that was very wonderful earlier. Why have you stopped? Start again. Let me get that pleasure again. Like parents controlling the children. How long can you control them? Maybe as long as they are with you. Even that is doubtful these days. What is the best way to control the children? They should be cultured. You must bring them into proper behavior, teach them. Their mind should be evolved. Then wherever they go, you have got the confidence that they will not go astray. So sheer force controlling will not work, and therefore the mind has to be prepared, mind has to be educated. And this what Tattva Bodha students, what was this? Shamaha. We have talked about Damaha in this sloka, he talks about Shamaha. That's why Tattva Bodha is a very, very beautiful introductory text for all those people who want to take spirituality as very seriously in their life. So Shamaha Yajna, disciplining the mind, thought discipline by controlling the quantity and quality of the thoughts. First, we have to master the quantity, then alone quality control is possible. Reduce the number of thoughts in your mind. deliberately, if a thought occurs, analyze the thought, tell the mind, remove it, delete, Control Alt Delete. You keep on doing to your thoughts. Only allow thoughts of good quality, useful thoughts, useful for your spiritual progress, useful for the benefit of mankind. Only allow those thoughts to linger in your mind. All other unnecessary thoughts, keep removing them. It's not a one-time effort. It's every thought that comes, you have to apply the quality control test and then remove them. What does not measure to the spiritual quality, remove them. But you have to do it very carefully, because when the quantity is very large, quality control is very difficult. Therefore, first we have to manage the quantity of thoughts. Then we should approach the quality. So step by step we will have to do. And there are sadhanas for that also. And not only the quality and quantity have to be managed, the direction of the thoughts also need to be regulated. It's a very tough discipline, I can tell you. All this meditation, everything is all meant for that only. Your mind has to be continuously monitored throughout the day. This is called Shama Yajna. Another sadhana you can practice is Mauna. Many people, in fact, in ashrams and all that, when I was in the Gurukula, weekly 1 day total Mauna. Maunam just not at the speech level. Maunam at the mind level. It's a whole day meditation actually. Classes will be going on, everything will be there. You will be doing all the things as you are doing every day. But you will start practicing Maunam, which is, directing your attention towards what the mind is doing. Because if you look at it, all our Jnanendriyas, Karmendriyas, everything, they follow the thoughts which occur in the mind. So at the source level itself, you try to monitor and control, manage. So till now, Krishna has enumerated 5 types of yajnas. He will introduce another 7 more yajnas. Always remember, whenever we are talking of yajna, we talk of spiritual discipline, which is what Krishna uses, which is the sense in which Krishna uses in a broad sense. Okay. Now we will see the next sloka. Dravya yajnastapo yajna yoga yajnastatha pare swadhyaya jnana yajnascha yataya samshitavrataah. Samshitavrataah. So they talk about another set of people. Apare. Yataya samshitavrataah. You can add kurvanti to that. They do. Dravya yajnah, tapo yajnah, yoga yajnah, tata swadhyaya yajnah, swadhyaya jnana yajnah cha. This is the Anvaya. Apare yatayah, others of the right effort, who put in the right effort. Samshita vrataah, and firm resolve. So both should be there. Right effort should be there and firm resolve should be there. Kurvanti, they practice, they do. What? Dravya yajna, charity as yajna, tapo yajna hai, austerities as a yajna, yoga yajna hai, yogas as a yajna, tata swadhyaya jnana yajna hai cha, and the repetition and study of scriptures as a yajna. So others of right effort and firm resolve are the practitioners of charity as an yajna, austerities as an yajna, yoga as a yajna, and the repetition and study of scriptures as yajna. So in this one verse, Krishna gives 5 spiritual disciplines. First, he talks about Dravya Yajna. Dravya Yajna means charity, dana. Varieties of charity, either in terms of money, in terms of material, in the form of food, in the form of knowledge. Sharing my knowledge with other people without charging anything for it. The moment you charge, it becomes what? A sale, not a yajna. If you are doing it without any consideration, then only it will become a dana. Even sharing time is a dana. So dhanam need not be money, sharing time, sharing knowledge, sharing my goodwill, even saying some kind words to a sick person. All these will come under Dravya Yajna, Dana Yajna. And Dhanam is considered to be a very important yajna because in the creation, if you look at it, everything is giving only the whole creation is about Dhanam. Everything is about a flow. Nothing remains stagnant in the creation. Even if you take the example of a river, the river receives the water from the mountain. One side it receives, and another side it flows and goes back into the ocean. And the ocean doesn't keep the water with itself. It hands over the water to the clouds. And the clouds again come down as rain on the mountains. And those water from the mountains come to the river. River again goes back to the ocean. So if you study the creation, everything is cyclic. There is an oxygen cycle, there is a carbon dioxide cycle, there is a food chain. Everything is a cyclic process. So cyclic means what? Not only that I should receive, I should also give. And when a person's mind becomes kripana means what? Miserly mind, or a lobhi mind, greedy mind. He is interested only in getting. He is not interested in giving. And even if he is interested in giving, he is not interested in giving proportionately. He may getting crores and crores, but he will give some 5 rupees, 10 rupees. That too after thinking for hours. So not only dhanam should be there, but it should also be proportional to what I receive. Then only, as we saw in the 3rd chapter, evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati hayah. That chakra has to be continued. The cycle has to be maintained. Human beings are one of the most important, most enlightened jivas in this entire cycle. Once there is stagnation, there is imbalance in the society, which leads to all sorts of problems, conflicts, crimes, etc. And therefore, religion emphasizes on voluntarily giving so that the flow is maintained. Everybody gets what they need for their sustenance. If we examine ourselves, we are all consumers for most of the time. Puja Swamiji talks about it, about this dhanam so eloquently rather. We are all consumers for most of the time, taking, gathering, amassing from the society. Our goal should be to become contributors. So the transformation that needs to take place is from consumers to contributors. I should come forward and share. And that's why Puja Swamiji says, dhanam is one of the most difficult thing to do. Human beings don't want to give up what they have got. So Puja Swamiji says that initially you force yourself to give dana. Many times he says people will keep some 100 rupees in the pocket and somebody comes asking for some bhiksha. He has got the money. He will find it very, very difficult to take out the money and give it to that person. His mind will start, is this fellow genuine? If I give the 100 rupees to him, will he go and eat food, or he will go to a Taskmark shop and have some drinks? So all these thoughts, and the mind will say, no, don't give him. He may not be. In fact, the mind will try to dictate that don't give him money. He is a fraud. That kind of this working of the mind has to be overcome, and it can be overcome by only one way: forcing your mind. Forget all these things, give. And there is a very nice anecdote from Rishikesh ashram, when Puja Swamiji was there. That is, given as an example. One person came to Puja Swamiji and said that, I want to go to Kashi. Can you please give me 5,000 rupees? So Puja Swamiji called the people, management people, said, give him 5,000 rupees. He wants to go to Kashi, which is a very noble thing. So that fellow took the 5,000 rupees and went away. Then the people, of course, when the Puja Swamiji is asking them to do something, they will not say no. They will just follow the orders. After this person has left, they came and told Swamiji, Swamiji, you must be very careful. This fellow, we know he goes to every ashram, to every Swamiji, and people, gullible people like you, they will keep on giving money. We don't know what he does with that money. He never goes to Kashi. So next time he comes, don't give him, don't entertain him. Puja Swamiji said, next time he comes, I will still entertain him. I don't care what he does with that money. Maybe you may be right. He has just told me a lie and to get money from me. So there are two aspects to giving. One is, when I am giving, I analyze whether I should give or not, why I should give. Another is, I just give. Because somebody asks me, I give. I don't think about it at all. It doesn't matter. If he has told me a lie, and if he is not going to use the money which I have given him for the purpose which he has stated, then the cosmic powers will take care of it. Why I should worry about it? If he has done the papa karma, if he has been adharmic, then there are powers. Ishvara is there. He will take care of it. Why should I bother? For me, dhanam, giving is more important, but that is what my duty is. My duty is to give, so I will give. So what I'm saying is, dhanam is one of the most difficult things. In fact, Krishna emphasizes, and the Upanishads also emphasize three sadhanas. Yajna, dana, tapa. 18th chapter, Krishna will say, Yajna, dana, tapa, karma, natyajyam karyameva tat, yajyo danam tapaschaiva, pavanani manishinam. This sacrifice, yajna, danas, charity, tapa, penance, are not to be given up at all. Natyajyam. They must be performed. So yajna dana tapaschaiva pavanani manishina. This sacrifice, charity, and penance purify even great souls. Upanishad also emphasizes Tamedam vedanu vachanena brahmana vividishanti yagyena danena tapasa anashakena. So these three basic sadhanas, yajna, dana, tapa, prayer to the Lord, sharing whatever I have, and then finally, moderation in everything, that is tapas. Avoiding overindulgence in anything. So here, one of the three, Krishna is emphasizing Dravya Yajna. And in fact, one of the best ways to do this Dravya Yajna, and if you look at all our rituals, which we perform, it's all based on this Dravya Yajna only, Dhanam only. Olden days, what they used to do, whenever they have got a little bit more money, because today we are, whatever we get, we have got banks and things like that, investment, mutual fund, we put all that money away. We don't even bother if our neighbor is starving, right? But in olden days, what they used to do, if they get little, they will always keep what is required for them and try to give away what is extra with them. So if they get little bit more money or anything, they would conduct some big ritual like a Maharudram, Atirudram, Chandi Homam, etc. And do Dravya Danam and Annadanam, etc. So that the Danam can be done as a part of the Yaga. Because giving also, one has to very carefully note one thing. Giving outside a yajna, or what I would call secular type of giving, may lead to arrogance. I have given. I have given. I am the one who has done this. I constructed this temple. So many families are dependent on me. This I business is, there is a risk of, developing arrogance when the dhanam is done to satisfy one's ego. But when the dhanam itself becomes a part of a ritual, it could be a temple ritual or a yajna. Any dhanam, including annadanam, etc., dakshina dhanam, vastra dhanam, padaraksha dhanam, kodai dhanam, vadi dhanam, pustaka dhanam, kshetra dhanam, swarna dhanam, all these. Marriage. Oh, I'm going to get my daughter married. One way of saying it. I am going to do Kadika Dhanam. The most dearest thing to me in my life is my daughter. I am going to give Dhanam of that daughter to somebody. If you do everything, all actions with this attitude, everything will become a yajna in their life. In fact, if you run your imagination, there is no end to what all things that you can give. Therefore, everything, yajna way of life, dravya yajna hai. And then he talks about tapo yajna. Tapas means what? We have already seen. Mastery of the sense organs. We have seen the definition of tapas earlier also. Willful self-denial to establish my mastery over my own organs. Every word of this definition, in fact, this is a definition given by Swami Paramarthananda. Lovely definition. Every word is important. But it should not be enforced self-denial. And there are so many sadhanas which help us. Ekadashi, for example. Many people voluntarily fast on Ekadashi day. But then there are some houses, they don't cook on Ekadashi day at all. So that everyone is forced to observe fast, whether they like it or not, whether they are ready for it or not. Such enforced upavasam is called starving. Starving does not produce spiritual growth. Fasting produces spiritual growth. In starving, there is pain and complaint. In fasting, there is joy. Upavasam means being very near to, staying very near to Bhagawad, to Ishvara. That is another problem these days. They don't, they say, I am doing upavasa. But where do they stay near to? That is a television upavasa, not Ishvara upavasa. They are a full day, they will be fasting and watching various programs on the TV with full mind, completely. The thought of Ishvara will not even come in their mind. What will run in their mind is all this Sarigama program, this, what is that, Big Boss, this, that, and all. That is not fasting. That is not going to help you in any way in your spiritual growth. Upavasam should be done for spiritual growth. Otherwise, you are starving yourself unnecessarily. Therefore, what is tapas? Tapas means I say no to whatever I regularly use or regularly do. And even as a part of a pilgrimage, this vow is taken. For example, pilgrimage to Shabarimala. They take 41 days vrata. And on those days, absolutely like a monk, an ascetic, they live 41 days. Because 41 days is important, because it says that for any habit that you have developed which you are not able to control, if you want to change that habit, if you want to give up that habit, it says 41 days, if you are successfully able to refrain from that habit, you will be able to change it. So these Sabarimala pilgrims, what they do not use pillow, they do not use chappal, they take food only once in a day, they take bath twice or thrice in a day. Whole day they will be focusing only on some chanting, some slokas, some singing the praise of some songs of Ayyappa. Many disciplines they follow. They also walk almost like 48-50 miles barefoot through a path strewn with pebbles and thorns. They very ecstatically sing Kallum Mullum Kaluk Mettai. They consider all those pebbles and thorns as what? As a bed of roses, as a bed on which they are walking. They chant the glories of the journey, singing the glories of the Lord. How are they able to do that? All because of their attitude. When the mind is focused on the Lord, physically the pain will be there, but I do not pay attention to the pain. When there is willful self-denial, I forego the comfort of using a footwear. Similarly, so many Vratam, Shivaratri Vratam is there. Now it's time we will talk about all this in the next class. Okay, I'll stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all very much. Dhanyavadaha.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ. ಹರಿ ಓಂ.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Question answers.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Thank you. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram. Any questions? Our opening batsman is missing. Huh? I think he is not there. Sometimes he comes, sometimes. Of course, also health is a problem for him. So I think sometimes he attends. Anyhow, are there any other questions? Any questions from the rest of you?
I have only a comment to make.
Yeah.
It's a yajna we are going. It's better to imbibe, take it in.
Yeah, meant for that only.
Question?
True, very true. Now, if you are serious about our spiritual goal, these are all the route map. I mean, it's very simple. It's in terms that it's not that we do not know all these things, right? But we don't perceive them in the way they should be perceived.
More than perception, the practice is very difficult.
Practice is difficult, true. But then, as I say, there are people I've seen, they will do Ekadashi Vrata. They will say, I am doing Upavasam. But what is the purpose of the Upavasam? They don't know. They will say, if I starve or if I don't eat for a day, my internal systems, digestion and all will become regulated. Very good, fine. But from a Shastric point of view, that is not the purpose of Upavasam. All these sadhanas, whatever we do, these vratams that we keep and all are ultimately should lead to purification of your mind. Purification of your thought process. So we do all these things. So it becomes, we know that these are there, but for what purpose, with what perception we are doing this is totally different.
And it becomes more mechanical.
Mechanical. If somebody else is doing, I will also do. And it's not possible for everybody to do, fasting. So it is not necessary that everybody should choose only this. As I said, there are 12 yajnas which Krishna mentions here. You can choose one or more of them, whichever suits you. There should be willful voluntariness rather than you are being forced to do it. Even you don't force yourself also to do it. Oh, everybody is doing it, I should also do it. No need. So this is all the kind of understanding and attitudinal change we need to bring about in this spiritual journey. Yeah. Okay.
This dhanam, when you said, which dhanam? Now, we know of instances in especially when I have lived in Bombay, in this signals, there would be small girls or small boys being sent for begging. Now, we know that they are being misused or those children are being exploited. Now, one thought is that should we encourage that by giving a dhanam? So, is that there also should we be discriminatory, or is that also giving should be taken as dhanam?
See, if you are giving without thinking how this is going to be used, is dana. And that's why Puja Swamiji is an example of that person who came to the Rishikesh ashram. He is a very, very glaring example. Even if you know it is going to be misused, because eventually what will happen, the survival of those people who are actually the conduits through this money flows get some benefit out of it. Maybe 2 times food they get, some place to stay they get. Maybe you give 10 rupees and only 1 rupee worth of things that they get, right? But still, that system, even though it's a totally corrupted system, it's a criminal system, it helps somebody to get some food. Without that, they will probably not even be able to get it. And that is why, there's another way you can look at it. Don't give money, right? Give, if they say, no, I have not eaten for 3 days, give food, take them to a restaurant and say, okay, come, I will give you food. And one of the best ways that I have seen many people practice also, there are restaurants which issue food coupons, right? So you buy those food coupons, keep it with you. When you're going in a car, there is a signal. Somebody says, I have not eaten for 3 days, small child. Give 2 food coupons, go to this restaurant and eat. You will get food. So you can actually, if you have got that problem in mind, you give food there, that is no use to the person who is actually orchestrating all these things, right? From your side, what you asked for food, you gave food, your dhanam is done. So if we actually apply a little more thought to the whole thing, there are, maybe not in all circumstances we may be able to avoid, but some circumstances we may be able to overcome that problem that we have, the mental block. To start with, I would say, don't think about it, right? A person has asked for food, you have got money, you give money. But money has now become a very common thing, and that's why Dravya Dhanam, money is also getting included in that. Those days, olden days, when we talk of Dravya, there was no money involved. Even today, when somebody dies, in the families, and we have this 10th day, 13th day rituals and all that, we do lot of dhanams, right? Chappal dhanam, that umbrella dhanam, so many swarna dhanam, rajata dhanam, so many dhanams we do. But what is happening today? Many priests say, don't do all these things, give us money. And the head priest will collect some 10,000 rupees from you he would have called some 10, 12 people. He will give each of them some 100 rupees and keep the 9,000 rupees with himself. This is the Kali Yuga, so we can't help it. So what we have to do in Kali Yuga, whatever best is possible, whatever we as a spiritual seekers, it appeals to us, we will do. If we are in a circumstance where we are at the mercy of the priest and we have to do whatever he has to do, he says us to do, then we do that and we will transfer all our papa to the priest. That's all. Ishvara, please pardon me. This is a karma I am doing, not willfully. I am doing this karma because this person has asked and I have to do this, I am doing it. Many people are there. I mean, for example, when a priest comes and tells me, I'll say, no, I will go buy the things. So, no, it's all very costly. You buy all these things, it will cost you 30,000 rupees. You give me only 10,000 rupees. I will say, no, I will go buy everything. Let it be 30,000 rupees because I will do it as a dhanam. But of course, there is also one problem. You will give some pair of chappal as a dhanam to that person. He will straight away go to a shoe shop and sell it. That is also there. Veshti and this, this dhoti and all dhanam, they will straight away go to the shop and sell it. So many
They
people,
don't
what
want
what
Veshti.
they used to do, they will wash it and then give. So that it can't be sold. So
No,
in Kali Yuga, I mean, we can go on discussing. There are a lot of issues are there, no doubt. But from our perspective, what is important is the attitude with which we are giving. Selflessly, we are giving. Ultimately, what happens? It is their problem. They will pay for it. If we have that strong faith in law of karma, then there is no problem. We can overcome that.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Hariom. Yes, Lataji, what is your question?
Namaste, Guruji.
Say,
The so many different kinds of ways of progressing spiritually are described. There's just why I had a question about this particular one, Guruji. This pertains to the previous shloka, actually, not the current shloka, where it's offering sound and other sense objects as sacrifice in the fire of the senses. Some of the meaning is not going here. If you could kindly explain that if possible.
sacrifice? Sacrifice is what? Giving up, offering, right?
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. Now, when you are hearing something, what are you taking? Taking in. What is
Sound.
being offered to what?
The sound is being offered to the sense organ.
Sound is being offered to your Shrotra sense organ, correct? Okay. Now there are so many sounds which are coming. You do want only the sounds which will help you in your spiritual progress to be offered into your sense organs.
Right.
So what do? All the other sounds, you take them, offer them and extinguish them.
Right. Okay.
That is the offering. For example, when we are doing a yaga with fire and all that, right? When we are offering ghee, when we are offering some rice and things like that and all, they vanish.
Yes, Guruji.
Similarly, what the Krishna is saying, that these are all yajna, you treat them as yajnas, all unnecessary things. For example, take the case of eyes. When you make your eyes see only those things which you want to see from a spiritual point of view, what you are doing is you are taking all other things which do not help you, spiritually, offer it into the faculty of sight, into the fire of the faculty of sight and extinguish them.
All right.
What remains is only what you want to see. And that is why I said, mind is the most important thing which is behind all these 10 indriyas. Rather. If you do it at the indriya level, without doing dhamma, also always should follow shama. If you do it only at the dhamma level, then it will remain indriya nigraha, but it will not be long lasting.
Right.
So
Yes,
that's why
Guruji.
shama has to come into the play. So the mind first, the source which is actually prompting all these things should come into the place. Where mind is behind all the 10 sense organs, right?
Yes,
If the
Guruji.
mind is not there, there is nothing going in. There is no offering. So that is how we have to, all the unnecessary things are offered unto the fire, and we retain only those things which are useful for us.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And that because it is offered, it is called yajna. You won't use them again, right? It is offered, gone, finished.
Yes.
That is how
Yes,
you have
Guruji.
to understand.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Guruji. Thank you very much. And incidentally, just if I can ask, about when you said about offering ghee and rice. What's the importance of ghee in every yajna? This ghee is something very important in offering. If it's not relevant now, you can answer some other time, Guruji.
No, this is a simple answer. Ghee is also one of the purifiers. Okay. Ghee is, because if you see ghee, it never gets stale. Pure ghee, if you keep, you can keep it for years. As long as it is pure ghee. Because these days, lot of you get ghees with so many contaminants. So ghee, there are so many things: fire, ghee, water. These are all purifying things.
Okay.
So whenever we are offering something, let us say some oblation into the fire, then we offer ghee also along with that, so that we are purifying whatever being offered with the ghee.
All right.
And ghee also is a very important ingredient in our food. In fact, Ayurveda says that everybody should have at least 1 spoon of ghee with every meal. So ghee also regulates our digestion. So many things, ghee does. So that is why it is offered in the oblation, the fires also, because constantly purifying. The fire needs to be a pure fire. But there may be, like, for example, we use wood. We use this, what is that, cow dung, cakes. They may all have a lot of impurities. So to purify all that, ghee is used for that. And when the fire is lit, the fire also purifies those things. So these are all, of course, aspects of rituals and all that. That is what.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Thank you very much. Hari Om, Guruji. Thank you very much.
Thank
you.
Any other question? If not, I will close the session, because I'm traveling to the US now. In another hour, we'll be setting out by road. So just have to get ready. Okay. Hari Om. See you next week. Namaste.
Thank you.
Namaste, Guruji. Hari Om, Guruji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.